Felicidades and congratulations. I'm very excited to have you here. Explain to the fans your experience in baseball because it's a very interesting journey with very humble beginnings. If you could walk us through just the step-by-step.
It's been a blessing to go through it. I mean, the whole experience, I was, born in a baseball family. Being able to see big league clubhouse since my early years, watching my dad manage, watching my brother play. Then I play a little bit of baseball too. Quickly, I was into coaching. I started coaching when I was 24 years old. And when I joined the Mets organization, and I saw how things were being done here to make players better, to not only that, but to also make good men. That drew my attention. That developed my instincts as a coach, and going through the ladder, up the ladder in the minor leagues, and even working last year in the big leagues, it's really put me where I am today.
You're incredibly humble right now because I've done some research on you, and there's no job that you won't do because at some point you even drove vans because it was for the greater good of the sport of baseball. Can you talk to us about that?
That's great. That brings so many memories just to think of those days. But we had 3 vans. We had 3 vans, and we transported the guys, to the field and from the field back to the hotel, from real early in the morning into sometimes late hours in the afternoon or in the evening. And that was quite an experience. You get to know the guys actually driving those vans.
I bet.
Yeah. Oh, we had great conversations and all that. So I enjoyed going through those moments and meeting the guys, getting up close to them while we're driving around and taking them to the field.
And speak to me a little bit about the players, because that is a very unique way to get to know the players. And in fact, Pete Alonzo tweeted, he said, "Loved having Luis in 17 and 18. It's awesome playing under him and having him on staff last year as well. Super pumped to have him as the jefe." He spelled jefe wrong, but you can correct him. He also throws some damn good BP. What do you have to say to that?
Oh my. First of all, the BP part pumped me up. That's, yeah. Him and I go way back with history of the VP when I first had Pete in 17, and I saw how much power this kid has. When he came in to AA in Binghamton. But super excited for that tweet. It's great to hear from Pete. The feedback of this moment in my life.
We all know you come from a very strong baseball family. Baseball courses through your veins. What impact has your father had on you as you take on this role? Not only as the manager of the Mets, you're also one of the youngest managers in MLB.
A lot. He's been my main mentor, been my main teacher. He's helped me through life. We all know that once you're in baseball, professional baseball, as a coach and as a player, you spend some time away from your loved ones, but you have a family. And, this is my family, the Mets family. He told me how to deal with the process, or he actually anticipated for me some of the things that I was going to live. And some things were no surprise for me just because of all the lessons that he gave me since early years. And, it really helped everything to go fluid, helped me become the man I am today, and helped me become the coach I am today as well.
What do you anticipate some of the bigger challenges for you as you enter the season?
There's always going to be a challenge. It's in the season, it's a long season, and how things unfold. There's always going to be a challenge. But before all of that, I feel very much prepared, very much ready for this season. Knowing this group of guys and them knowing me back, and the great team that we have and the great staff, I think that we are going to collaborate and we're going to be together moving forward. And it's going to be a very positive season.
I tend to agree with you. Other than your father and your family members, who are some of the other people in baseball that influenced you and that you really looked up to?
Oh man, the coaches in the minor leagues, my friends, coaches in Winter Ball, people that we shared emotions, and we went through tough times too. People that we can tell stories, funny stories, or stories that we lived in a clubhouse. Specifically, coaches in the New York Mets like Bobby Floyd, an all-time coach. He really taught me a lot of things when I came to the Mets organization. Tom McGraw taught me a lot of things when I came to the Mets organization. Ismael Cruz, Pablo Cruz, who were impactful figures in the Dominican Republic as far as signing players and developing them. They also impacted me since early. So, they were great for me in my early years as I was becoming a coach.
And you mentioned Dominican Players. It's very important, as you know. A big part of this organization is appealing to our fan base, which is very largely Latino and Dominican and Puerto Rican. And at the news conference, you mentioned, and you spoke in Spanish, about the lessons you learned in the Dominican Republic. How does that affect you as a manager? What does it mean to you to be one of very few Dominican managers in Major League Baseball?
It means a lot to me. I want that to happen more. I want to be an inspiration to a set of coaches that are out there. There are a lot of coaches that are from Latin America, that are from the Dominican Republic, that are working for different organizations in our organization. And I think they have a bright future as well. You know, to follow this path and to follow the grind of the developing as a coach and as a manager, I think is a beautiful thing. So for me, it's truly be that, you know, be that example and always represent, you know, the Latinos and always represent our flag, you know, the Dominican flag. So when I see my people from the Dominican here in New York or whatever city we go, you know, they can approach me and say hi, and they, you know, we can talk, we can speak in Spanish, and whenever I go back to my country, have them approach me as well, and I'll be glad to for that to happen.
Yeah, I think your reach is so far. We already know you throw a mean BP with Pete Alonzo, but Tomas Nido said that you let the players just play, and that you help instill confidence in them. And that you give such great feedback, whether it's good or bad. How do you manage to do that without alienating your players? You know, you have to be good cop and bad cop.
Well,
how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, situation calls for it. The individual calls for it too. They all get the read or the evaluation that we as coaches do. I always been given the great advice of be yourself. On myself, you know, when I put the uni on myself when I take the uni off. And I approach the guys the same way on and off the field. You know, and we can engage conversations that I feel that are going to put them in a good position. You know, a lot of coaches can identify from this as well, because that's how we operate here in New York Mets. That's how our staff operates, and you know, it's great to hear from Nido because him and I have plenty of conversations in the minor league as he played for me, I think 3 years. And then last year we spent the season, almost all the season together here in New York.
And I saw your son was very familiar with his locker running up and down.
Yeah, he knew exactly where Nido's locker was. That's one of his friends from the minor leagues.
What is your biggest message to fans this season?
Well, our biggest message is to support us. You know, it's a long season. This team is built to win. We need that support. When we have that support in our back, we feel it. And last year we had a couple of series towards the end of the season where our fan base was going crazy. The attendance was really high and they supported, and the players' energy here was off the roof. And I think it impacts a lot. So come and support, you know, your team. This team is built to win.
And that brings up a point, because we're talking about midsummer where it was completely packed, and we as a team fell just short of making it to the playoffs. If faced with that situation, what do you think you can do to bring the team all the way?
Well, it's going to be a collaboration once again. You know, the values, got to follow those values. And I know we're going to do it. This is a great family. We're going to be trustful to each other. You know, we're going to be accountable to each other. We're going to have excellent communication. I think once we follow that and we're open, I think with the talent that we have and the depth that we have on this team, I think we can achieve our goals.
Luis, talk to me about your coaching staff. You're obviously stepping into a new role with this staff. Talk to me about that.
We have a great staff. I mean, I'm very proud to be a part of this staff as the manager. Some of those guys, I know them very well. You know, I spent already a season with them, collaborating, interacting, and they have such a great experience to bring in repertoire. Chili Davis, our hitting coach, who I worked really close with last year, the quality control job. And you know, we're interacting always to dig in information and to feed it to our players, to get them prepared towards the game offensively. Tom Slater, who's, you know, the assistant hitting coach, you know, we work about in the same line that we did with Chili. Gary DiSarcina as well. We always share ideas. He's got so much passion for our players. And I'm really looking forward on working with Gary. I mean, he's got some great ideas, and I think, you know, they're all positive like he is, and they're going to impact the team as well greatly. Hensley Mullins, you know, bringing all that experience. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. He's brings a lot of experience. He's going to be my bench coach, and I can't wait to keep exchanging ideas and keep exchanging, you know, game decision ideas again that I'm going to say, that we can foresee. Pitching coach Jeremy Hefner, who I know already for a little bit when he was a Met, and then again in Winter Ball, he pitched for the team I managed a few years ago. Jeremy's a blessing to have him. He's got a great demeanor. The guys are going to love him, are going to relate with him greatly, and I think he's going to be a big asset for me. Jeremy Accardo, as the pitching strategies, great attitude, outgoing, brings a lot to the table, knowing the analytics as well. Tony DeFrancesco, with such great experience. Him and I also go way back. I know him very well. He was a manager in the Dominican Winter Ball, and I was on his staff. And we developed a great relationship. And Tony's managerial years and experience, I think they're gonna be of huge help for me as well. So I'm counting on using his help all the time.
You really love your staff because you were smiling the entire time you were talking about them.
I'm grateful to have him. I mean, once I got the notice that I was gonna be the manager, I thought of then, I started calling them right away. I reached out and I was sharing my emotions with each one of them. I mean, we've been collaborating, we've been setting up plans for this spring training since early in the offseason. And we just shortly saw each other, and that we are where we want to be, and we have a great relationship like I just mentioned, so I'm very pumped.
So when you got the call, who was the first person you called to say, oh my goodness, my dream just came true?
First person I called, it was my wife. We shared emotions, of course. I mean, she was the first person. And then started going everyone else. Closing off, I called the staff as well because I wanted to get in touch with them quickly.
And then your phone was just blowing up, I'm sure.
And then I stopped knowing my phone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.